The day that brings the first confirmed death from COVID-19 in Georgia brings more developments than we have seen up to this point.
And we have a number of school districts now canceling class with the University System of Georgia and many private colleges and high schools going to online classes. We have a list running at the bottom of the screen.
The NCAA also announced it is now canceling Division I basketball tournaments for men and for women. That's right along the lines of action taken by a number of professional sports leagues. The first confirmed death in our state is a 67-year-old man who had underlying health conditions. He was treated at Wellstar Kennestone. That's, of course, in Cobb County.
Governor Kemp says we now have 31 cases in 12 counties. And that includes some that still need final confirmations by the CDC. Today, the message is this: more cases are coming and the state is getting ready.
We know it is a lot to take in. There is a lot of new information coming in, really moment by moment. It has been a very busy afternoon.
And our team is working for you to bring answers, putting the facts into context to drive down all of the fears.
Yeah, the information certainly helps us as we move forward. Let's start with Joe Henke at the state capitol. Joe, Governor Kemp just talked about the state's response. It was an extensive press conference there with a lot of information, Joe.
It was, Cheryl, quite possibly, or it was his longest press conference so far on COVID-19. He continued to say he does not want the public to panic about the coronavirus, but he did definitely change his tone today when talking about older people in our communities and people with special needs and how we are taking care of those people moving forward. He's asking families and neighbors with anyone 60 years of age and older or with underlying conditions to have a conversation with those people. Make sure that there is a plan in place for those people to have a 2-week supply of food, prescriptions, and other necessities.
We must take extra care around elderly individuals, people with ongoing health issues, and those who have a suppressed immune system. We need to help them dramatically limit their exposure to the public for the foreseeable future.
And Governor Brian Kemp says that includes skipping, for high-risk people, them skipping events, large-scale events where there's a lot of traffic, including church services. He mentioned 2 of the confirmed COVID-19 cases coming out of Bartow County. The people from those cases attended the same Bartow County church. In a letter sent to members today, Church at Liberty Square said 2 people attended Sunday services the past 2 weeks. They're now asking their members to monitor for symptoms. Kemp also made a call to action today for community leaders, education leaders, and child care providers. He did not mandate closures, but says if school leaders and child care providers believe it's necessary, he wants them to close for 2 weeks, starting as early as tomorrow. And if possible, he wants local governments to direct non-essential employees to stay home for 2 weeks. The governor also expanded his coronavirus task force. He put several people in charge of a variety of committees today for supplies, physician care, caring for the homeless, and also the economic impact. Coming up at 6, we'll show you how the state is now reporting more information about the coronavirus cases so far. Cheryl?
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. Dr. Toomey also with the Department of Health saying, hey, the numbers are a little skewed at this point because there hasn't been widespread testing. It is obviously very concerning to hear about the first death from the virus, and we are hearing from the state we're going to get more cases. Information is power right now because it helps us be prepared and make good decisions. And you've got a tool, Rebecca, that can help us keep track of a lot of that information. That's always changing.
It is always changing, at least in a big picture perspective, because a lot of people really trying to decide, do I take that vacation? Should I go to that gathering that is happening in my neighborhood?
Right.
So there are a lot of tracking maps right now. And I really like this one that you see behind me. It's from Johns Hopkins University. And the reason I really like this one is that it gives you that number of total cases that we're seeing. Keep in mind, this is across the globe. And you look at that number, 127,000 cases. That's a big number. It is a scary number. But why I like this map is because of what they do over here on the other side of the screen. They tell you the number of deaths around the world, but they also tell you the number of people who have recovered. And you can scroll through this list to actually find out where those who have recovered are living. And if you do the math, if you add or subtract the total confirmed from the number of people recovered, you're actually going to find that there are more people who have had COVID-19, who have finished their quarantine process, who have now recovered or back out in the community trying to move on with their lives than there are people who are still at home trying to get over this illness. Cheryl?
Rebecca, thanks a lot. Good perspective there.
Within the last hour, an announcement impacting more than 330,000 college students here in Georgia. The University System of Georgia announcing it is suspending in-person classes for now, with many private colleges also deciding to move to online class models. 11 Alive's Latasha Givens joins us with more on these decisions.
Well, Jeff, since last week, we've seen major universities and school systems across the country move to an online curriculum. Emory announced digital learning yesterday, and late this afternoon, a lot of other schools followed suit. Emory sophomore Grant Britton is glad the university was one of the first in our state to move to online learning as the confirmed coronavirus cases continue to rise.
I feel like the situation is under control here in the U.S., but given that it could easily be very contagious, then I think that it would probably be the best option to do what they're doing with shutting down all the schools.
When the dorms close, he'll have to go back home to Nashville, along with his brother, a student at Vanderbilt, whose campus is also closing. He says reimbursement for room and board will come soon.
We haven't been given specific monetary values of how much they'll return us for our room and board, but they said that there will be at least some reimbursement.
We decided to move to a fully online platform and ask our students to stay at home and operate online.
Oglethorpe, SCAD, Clark Atlanta University, Spelman, and Morehouse colleges are all moving to digital learning.
All on-campus, campus-sponsored activities are canceled for the duration of the semester.
Every college we spoke with says arrangements will be made for students who can't move back home. Late Thursday afternoon, the University System of Georgia, which includes GSU, UGA, and Georgia Tech, decided to follow suit.
The WHO declared it a pandemic.
Tony Tan was initially upset that Tech did not move to online learning sooner, but feels safer knowing the university is following the recommended proximity guidelines as outlined by the CDC.
In a lot of my classes, students sit right next to each other, right? CDC says the definition of close contact for getting this disease is about 6 feet. I don't have 6 feet between me and my classmates.
And we'll keep you updated as other school systems decide how to proceed.
All right, Latasha, thanks a lot. The last 24 hours, all major sports leagues have altered their plans in some way. We've just learned within the last half hour that the NCAA has now canceled all of its winter spring championships. That includes the men's Final Four, which was scheduled for Atlanta. At first they said no fans. Now they say it's going to be off altogether. Today, Major League Baseball and Major League Soccer suspended their seasons. The PGA and NASCAR are going to continue on, but at this point without any fans.